Greetings, everybody. Today's learning objectives are as follows: ethics in the business context, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, triple bottom line approach. Apart from engaging in marketing, there are a few other things you can do to attract even more customers. Acting with honesty is an important component of all aspects of life. But integrity is especially essential in the business context. In the business world, you will frequently encounter situations that will require you to choose the appropriate course of action. A conflict of interest is one example of such situations. A conflict of interest arises when there is a clash between your own personal interests and the interests of others, and you will have to choose between an action that will promote your own interests and an action that will promote an interest of others. At times, you will have to choose between an interest of your own friend or a family member and your employee or employer. Another example is gifting practices. It is important to be able to identify an acceptable gift, as under certain circumstances, a gift may be seen as a bribe. You might also encounter a situation when you become aware of a wrongdoing committed by a third party, and you will have to decide whether to keep silent or expose an unethical or even illegal behavior. In other words, become a whistleblower. That may be a difficult decision which must be carefully evaluated before being made. Two types of ethical challenges faced by the people involved in business include ethical dilemmas and ethical decisions. Ethical dilemmas represent problematic situations that force decision makers to choose between alternative, equally acceptable options that may nonetheless be disadvantageous to one group or the other. When dealing with dilemmas, one needs to identify the problem and gather facts, determine the options available, assess the effect of each option on the relevant stakeholders, which includes owners, employees, customers, communities, establish criteria for selecting the best option, and then make a choice on the basis of the established criteria. Ethical decisions entail a choice between unethical behavior and unethical or downright illegal behavior. When dealing with ethical decisions, asking yourself a series of questions may assist you in determining whether the option selected by you is ethical. These questions include the following: is the action illegal? Is the action unfair to certain parties? Will I feel bad if I take that particular course of action? Can I openly tell my family, friends, co-workers, or superiors about my actions and not be ashamed? What will I feel if my decision is highlighted in the media? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, then it is highly likely that you're about to do something wrong. In order to be ethical, you can follow these simple guidelines. Develop and follow your own personal code of conduct and act according to your own convictions rather than do what is convenient or profitable at the time. Be honest with customers, management, co-workers, competitors, and the public. Remember that it is the small, seemingly trivial, day-to-day activities and gestures that build your character. Let us summarize what we have learned thus far. Business ethics is concerned with the application of ethical behavior in the business context. Acting ethically entails more than just obeying laws and regulations. It also entails fair competition, honesty, and not causing harm to others. Acting detrimentally to your own interests when the situation demands it, when a conflict of interest arises, is also an important aspect of ethical behavior. In order to act ethically, you need to understand the difference between right and wrong. You also need to have a backbone to be able to set aside your own interests, even if this means doing something personally disadvantageous or difficult. Ethics concerns not only individual behavior, but also organizational behavior. Your actions are not driven solely by your own personal values, but are also influenced by other members of the organization you work at. Many organizations have their own corporate cultures. A corporate culture represents shared beliefs and values that influence the way things are done at the organization. It is the top managers who exert the strongest influence on the organizational culture. They act as role models for their subordinates. They are responsible for letting the members of the organization know what is considered acceptable and ethical and the consequences of inappropriate behavior. As long as managers act ethically, subordinates can be expected to do the same. Holding subordinates accountable for their actions and taking appropriate actions is also essential for those who hold the positions of leadership. It is also advisable to adopt a formal code of conduct describing the guidelines and principles to be followed by all members when performing their job-related functions. Ethical organizations treat everyone respectfully and fairly. This includes customers, investors, employees, and the representatives of the general public. Fairness is a top priority for ethical organizations. They adopt codes of conduct and promote values. They demand and reward integrity and hold people accountable for their actions. Acting ethically and responsibly is in the best interest of any company, as it is easier for trustworthy companies to attract and retain employees, capital, and customers. Although acting ethically always pays off, unethical behavior is still encountered in the business community. People who commit wrongdoings typically find comfort in one of the following rationalizations justifying their unethical actions. For example, they might claim that the action is in the best interest of everyone. They may think that no one will find out. They may believe that their action is not really illegal or unethical, or that their actions will be approved by the company. The advice is avoid unethical behavior at all costs, because it takes years to build your reputation and a few seconds to destroy it. But simply acting ethically is actually not enough. Corporate social responsibility represents the approach organizations adopt while attempting to balance their responsibilities owed to various stakeholders when making social, legal, ethical, and economic decisions. These various stakeholders include employees, owners, customers, the government, various bodies and organizations, and the general public. Thus, managers representing a company, among other things, owe a duty to increase the value of the owner's investments by engaging in profitable transactions, protect the company's assets and handle funds in a responsible manner, provide owners and other stakeholders with reliable and trustworthy financial information, ensure workers' health and safety, pay wages and benefits, provide equal opportunities, ensure fair treatment of customers, provide customers with information about products, and sell safe products, provide jobs in the community they operate in, pay taxes, donate funds, equipment, and products to support various community activities and projects. The benefits of endorsing diversity should be mentioned separately. People with various backgrounds have different perspectives and different talents that may be utilized for the benefit of the company. Furthermore, a company with a diverse workforce is better placed to serve an ethically diverse population. In addition to considering the social environment in its operation, companies must produce products in a manner that doesn't compromise the right of future generations to meet their own needs. The latter entails demonstrating respect for the surrounding natural environment, including land, air, water, and living organisms, and adopting sustainable business practices. Thus, in order to protect the land from damage, we must adopt responsible waste disposal practices, preserve wetlands and wildlife habitats, and bring logging and mining operations under control. In order to reduce air pollution, we need to limit emission of carbon dioxide, toxic gases and particles, and stop the practices that result in deforestation. In order to reduce the burden laid on water, we need to control oil and various chemicals, including silt, pesticides, fertilizers, wastewater, and others, and reduce consumption to protect and conserve water supplies. Sustainable business practices ensure that the products manufactured and marketed at present do not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Responsible companies do both. They meet their own commercial needs, and they also protect the environment. You really need to remember only one thing: adoption of the triple bottom line approach, which means concentrating not only on profit, but also on people and the planet, as well as acting ethically in the business environment, typically leads to improved financial performance. Thank you for your attention. Please like and subscribe for more interesting stuff, and I'll see you next time.